Ampetronic. Listen to the difference.
Hi there, my name is Ed and I'm a System Design Engineer at Ampetronic. In this video, we'll be looking at how to commission a CLD1 counter loop system using an Ampetronic FSM. Before starting this, ensure everything is installed and correctly positioned. For help with this, see our video on installing a CLD1. To commission the system, we will need a calibrated field strength meter. Here, we are using an Ampetronic FSM. When using the FSM for commissioning, you will need a printed commissioning form to record your measurements and results. You can download these forms from the Ampetronic website. The other items you will need are a pair of headphones, a small flathead screwdriver for adjusting the CLD1 controls, and a way of providing test signals into the amplifier. This can be an MP3 player with the correct test tones downloaded from ampetronic.com/signals. Just make sure you have no EQ set on the playback device, which could affect the readings. Start by filling in the details at the top of the form. Then take note of the test positions shown in the diagram below. We are going to test in 6 places, directly in front of the loop and at a slight offset at 45 degrees, each at heights of 1.2 meters, 1.45 meters, and 1.7 meters, to cover the full range of listening heights between, for example, standing adults, children, and wheelchair users. Make sure to measure these test heights so you know where you should be holding the meter. First, we will test the background noise. With the amplifier turned off and the lower FSM switch in the bottom green mode, take a reading in each of the 6 positions, looking at the green scale. Ideally, we want all the readings to be less than -32 decibels to get a full pass. It can be acceptable for some readings to be up to -22 decibels if the noise doesn't have a big impact on intelligibility. If the noise levels are in this range, you should listen and make comments on the sound you hear. Any readings above -22 decibels will fail this test. Background noise is normally caused by other electrical devices in the area. So if readings are too high, try identifying the source by moving the meter around to see where the levels increase or decrease. You can also try turning off things like lighting or other devices which might cause noise. Once the cause is identified, you can report this to the client for further investigation. Next, we will test for field strength. Unplug your microphone and plug in your audio source. Make sure that the CLD1 is powered on, then play the combi or combination file. This will play a signal that alternates between pink noise and 1 kHz sine wave. You will see the signal level change by approximately 6 decibels between these two sounds, and we need to make sure that the readings are taken at the highest peaks caused by the 1 kHz sine wave. If needed, adjust your audio source volume or the input level on the CLD1 to make sure that the input signal LED is on. Set the lower FSM switch to the middle white mode and read off the white scale. You can see our field strength was too high here in the initial readings, so we need to adjust that before we can write down the results. Use the loop current control to turn the amplifier up or down if you need to adjust the readings you are getting. Again, we need to test this in 6 defined positions, and we are looking for all readings to be within plus or minus 6 decibels. We allow some additional tolerance to give a qualified pass if the readings are slightly outside this range. Once you have adjusted the amplifier as well as possible and all 6 readings have been taken, tick one of the 3 verdict boxes for this section. Step 3 is frequency response. For this, we will change our input signal to play pink noise. This allows us to look at how the system is performing across the full range of sounds to make sure it will reproduce speech in a clear, intelligible way. With this playing, change the FSM mode switch to the top blue option and make sure the extra frequency band switch is on the middle 1 kHz position. We will be reading from the white scale. This time, at each of the 6 positions, take a reading of the 1 kHz setting, then move the switch to the 5 kHz and 100 Hz in turn, noting down the readings in each position. We are looking at the difference between the three readings in each test point. It does not matter how high or low the overall readings are, as we have already tested this in the previous step. To meet standard, 5 kHz and 100 Hz should be within 3 decibels of the 1 kHz reading. In a wooden counter environment, these readings should be similar in any given test position, and no adjustment should be needed. If the counter has metal in the frame or surface, then you are likely to see the 100 Hz showing a higher reading and the 5 kHz showing a lower reading. Turn the MLC control on the amplifier up gradually and retest one of the positions. This control adjusts the frequency response, pivoting around 1 kHz, which will allow you to compensate for the effects of the metal. Once you have achieved a satisfactory result, take readings in the rest of the test positions and give the section an overall pass, qualified pass, or fail verdict. The next step requires you to plug in headphones and listen to the sound quality from the loop. Unplug your audio source and plug the microphone back in. You may need to adjust the input level control if you do not see the signal LED come on while talking. You also need to switch the meter mode back to the middle white position. Speak into the microphone while holding the meter within the intended listening area. You may wish to have a colleague speak if it's difficult to do this by yourself. Read each of the questions and tick the answer which represents the sound or behavior of the system. Making sure the meter is still in the middle white mode, look at the field strength reading while speaking. In at least one position within the listening area, you should be able to achieve -6 dB field strength. Tick the relevant box on step 5. Step 6 is designed to ensure the amplifier and gain structure has not added a lot of extra noise to the background level we tested in the first step. Mute or unplug the microphone and switch to the green background noise mode on the FSM. Ideally, this should be below -47 decibels, but if not, compare the reading to a background noise measurement in the same position. As long as the noise in a given position has not increased by more than 3 decibels, then we can pass this section. The overspill step is optional and not relevant if you just have a single loop to test with no privacy concerns. Note that counter loops are never designed to be specifically low spill, but the field will drop off quickly with distance due to the small coil. If we have multiple counters, we recommend a minimum distance of around 1.2 meters between the centers of each loop. To test overspill between them, plug your audio source back in and play the combi tone again. Switch the FSM to the green background noise meter mode and take a reading in the listening positions that you want to test. For example, at the next counter position. We ideally want to achieve the same levels as we tested for with background noise, but spill from counter loops can be acceptable up to around -22 dB, depending on the acoustic environment. There should be clear signage indicating where the loop is to be used, and the venue staff should know how the system works and be having it regularly checked. If the commissioning is happening at the early stages of a building sign-off, then these questions can be left unanswered, with a comment to note that they must be undertaken to guarantee full compliance. Once finished, look through all the section verdicts and give an overall system verdict. All green ticks gives an overall pass. Any red ticks indicates a fail, and depending on the amount of yellow ticks, this should be either a qualified pass or a fail. Comments can be provided so that the venue owner is able to take any necessary action to get the system working. That's the system fully commissioned and ready to provide assistance to any hearing aid users. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please contact our support team using live chat, support@ampetronic.com or 01636 610 062.
Ampetronic. Listen to the difference.